If you got a speeding ticket, don't pay that fine yet, because paying the ticket is automatically admitting guilt, and that admission can cost you much more than the fine. Points on your license, increasing your insurance, and in serious cases, even your freedom. But there are legitimate defenses that can help you fight that ticket, reduce the charges, or even dismiss the case completely. In the next few minutes, I'm going to explain exactly how to do it. Hi, I'm Pierre Prialé, an attorney specializing in criminal defense in Northern Virginia and personal injury throughout the DMV area. Over the last 20 years, I've fought thousands of traffic cases, including speeding tickets, and I've seen it all. I've seen cases where the radar was miscalibrated. I've seen cases where the officer measured the wrong vehicle. I've seen cases where speed limit signs weren't properly posted. And in each of those cases, there was a valid defense. But most people simply pay the fine because they don't know they have options. In this video, I'm going to explain the most effective defenses against speeding tickets, how radars work, and how to challenge them, what questions to ask the officer in court, how to request evidence before trial, and when it's worth fighting your case. Especially in Virginia, where a speeding ticket can be a criminal charge, it's critical that you understand your options. Stay until the end. Let me explain something important about speeding tickets. Not all speeding tickets are the same. In Virginia, if you're stopped for driving 20 miles an hour or more over the speed limit, or if you're going 85 miles an hour or more regardless of the limit, that's not just a traffic violation. That's reckless driving, and reckless driving is a criminal offense. It's a Class 1 misdemeanor. It can result in up to 12 months in jail, up to $2,500 fine, 6 points on your license suspension, and a permanent criminal record. We're talking about consequences that can affect your employment, your insurance, your ability to travel, everything. Now, even if your ticket isn't reckless driving, paying any ticket has consequences. Points on your license. In Virginia, depending on how much you exceeded the limit, you can receive between 3 and 6 points on your license. If you accumulate 12 points in 12 months or 18 points in 24 months, they will suspend your license. Your insurance will increase. Your insurance can go up between 20% and 40% for 3 to 5 years. In some cases, your insurance company can cancel your policy completely. Permanent record. That ticket stays on your driving history for years, affecting future tickets and charges. That's why it's so important to understand you have options. You don't have to accept the ticket automatically. You can fight it. And in many cases, you can win or at least significantly reduce the consequences. Before explaining the defenses, let me tell you the most common mistakes people make. Mistake number 1, paying the ticket without understanding the consequences. Many people receive the ticket, see the fine amount, and simply pay it online or by mail. But paying the ticket is legally the same as pleading guilty. You can't pay it and then change your mind. Once you pay it, case closed. Mistake number 2, going to court unprepared. Some people think, I'm going to go to court and explain to the judge what happened. But without evidence, without witnesses, without a clear legal strategy, it's very difficult to win. The officer is going to be there, they're going to testify. They're going to have their version of events. You need to be prepared to cross-examine the officer and present your defense. Mistake number 3, not requesting the state's evidence before trial. You have the right to request certain evidence before your hearing. For example, radar calibration records, officer training records, and equipment operation manual. This evidence can reveal problems that help you win your case. But many people don't know they can request it. Mistake number 4, hiring the wrong attorney or not hiring one. Not all attorneys know how to fight these cases. You need someone who knows all the local laws of Virginia, Maryland, or DC, understands how radars and other measuring equipment work, has experience cross-examining police officer, and knows how to file technical motions. An experienced attorney can make the difference between a conviction and a dismissal. Now let me explain the most effective defenses against speeding tickets. Defense number 1, errors in the citation. If the ticket has significant errors, it can be dismissed. For example, wrong address, incorrect legal statute cited, incorrect vehicle description, missing officer's signature, or wrong date or time. Not all errors will invalidate the ticket, but serious errors can. Defense number 2, lack of probable cause for the stop. The officer needs a valid reason to pull you over. If the officer cannot clearly articulate why they stopped you, the stop may be illegal. And if the stop was illegal, any evidence obtained can be suppressed. Defense number 3, problems with radar calibration. Radars and laser guns must be calibrated regularly. In Virginia, they generally must be calibrated monthly and before and after each officer's shift. If the officer cannot show valid calibration certificates, the radar reading can be challenged. Key questions for the officer. When was the last time this radar was calibrated? Can you show me the calibration certificate? Was the radar calibrated at the beginning and the end of your shift that day? If there are calibration problems, the judge can dismiss the case. Defense number 4. Lack of officer training. The officer must be certified and trained in the use of the specific equipment they use. If the officer doesn't have current certification, or if their training expired, the evidence may be inadmissible. Questions. Are you certified to operate this specific radar model? When did you receive your last certification? Can you show your training certificate? Defense number 5. Mistaken vehicle identification. In heavy traffic, it's easy for an officer to measure one vehicle but stop another. If there were other cars near you traveling at similar speeds, you can argue the officer confused you with another vehicle. Useful evidence. Photos or videos showing traffic at that time. Passenger testimony. Description of other vehicles similar to yours. Defense number 6. Radar interference. Radars can give incorrect reading due to interference. Other police radars nearby, radio signals, large metallic objects, weather conditions. If you can demonstrate these were conditions that could have interfered with the radar, you can question the reading's accuracy. Defense number 7. Inadequate speed limit signage. By law, speed limits must be properly posted. If there were no visible signs or if signs were obstructed, the speed limit may be invalid. Some useful evidence. Photos of the area showing lack of signs or obstructed signs, and testimony about visibility. Defense number 8. Emergency or necessity. If you exceeded the speed limit due to a genuine emergency, you can use this as a defense. For example, medical emergency, escaping immediate danger, or taking someone to the hospital. You need evidence supporting the emergency, medical records, witness testimony, or police records about the danger. Defense number 9. Defective speedometer. If your speedometer was malfunctioning and showing a lower speed than actual, you can use this as mitigating evidence. It is not a complete defense, but it can help reduce the fine or points. You need a speedometer calibration certificate showing it was inaccurate, or a mechanic to testify about the problem. Defense number 10. Incorrect measurement procedure. Each type of equipment has specific procedures that must be followed. For example, with LiDAR, the officer must keep the gun stable, must aim it at the center of the vehicle, and there must be no objects obstructing the line of sight. With radar, the radar must be in stationary mode for certain measurements. The radar angle matters. If the officer didn't follow the correct procedure, the reading may be inaccurate. Now let me give you the step-by-step on how to fight your ticket. Step 1. Don't pay the ticket immediately. Read the ticket completely and check for errors. Step 2. Document everything. As soon as possible after receiving the ticket, write down everything you remember about the stop. Go back to where you were stopped and take photos. Identify possible witnesses and save any evidence. Step 3. Request evidence from the state. Send a formal request asking for radar calibration certificates, equipment maintenance records, officer training certificates, radar and LiDAR operation manual, and any evidence or photos of the stop. This must be done in writing, sent by certified mail to the prosecutor's office and the police department. Step 4. Review the evidence you receive. When you receive the documents, review them carefully, looking for expired certifications, lack of calibration on required dates, inconsistencies in any records, and any information supporting your defense. Step 5. Preparing your case. Based on the evidence, decide which defense is strongest. Prepare specific questions to cross-examine the officer, your witnesses, documents or physical evidence, and your testimony. Step 6. Consider hiring an attorney. If your case is complicated, if you're facing reckless driving, or if you simply don't feel comfortable handling it alone, hire an experienced attorney. An attorney can file technical motions, cross-examine the officer effectively, negotiate with the prosecutor, and present your defense professionally. Step 7. Go to the hearing prepared. Arrive early, dress appropriately, and bring all your evidence organized. Be respectful to the judge and officer. Step 8. Present your case. If the officer doesn't show up, ask that your case be dismissed. If the officer appears, listen to the testimony carefully. Ask your prepared questions during cross-examination. Present your evidence of witnesses. Testify if necessary. Step 9. If you lose, consider appealing. If the judge finds you guilty, you can appeal to a higher court, but you have a very short deadline. Consult with an attorney immediately about your appeal options. Here are some critical tips. Tip number 1. Not all tickets are worth fighting. If it was a minor ticket without serious points and you'd have a clean record, sometimes it's better to pay the fine or take a driving class to reduce points. But if it's reckless driving, or if you have multiple tickets, or if your job depends on your license, definitely fight the case. Tip number 2. Taking a driver improvement class can help. In Virginia, you can voluntarily take a driver improvement class to receive 5 positive points on your license. You can do this every 24 months. Doing this before your hearing shows the judge you're being proactive. Tip number 3. A clean driving record helps a lot. If you have a clean record, mention it to the judge. This can result in a charge reduction, fine reduction, or just a warning. Tip number 4. Consider negotiating with the prosecutor. Before your hearing, the prosecutor may be willing to negotiate. For example, reduce reckless driving to simple speeding, reduce the speed on the ticket, or reduce the points. This especially works if you have a clean record and if it's your first offense. Tip number 5. In Virginia, some tickets have special consequences. For example, reckless driving is a Class 1 criminal misdemeanor. Speeding in school zones, fines are double. Speeding in work zones, increased fines. Know the specific consequences to your ticket. You have rights when fighting a speeding ticket. You have rights when fighting a speeding ticket. You have the right to attend your court hearing, see the evidence against you before trial, cross-examine the officer who gave you the ticket, present your own witnesses or evidence, appeal if you lose, and represent yourself or hire an attorney. The state must prove that you exceeded the speed limit beyond any reasonable doubt, that the equipment used was functioning properly, that the officer was trained and certified, and that the stop was legal. If the state cannot prove any of these elements, you can win your case. Look, a speeding ticket may seem like something minor, but the consequences can be serious. Points on your license, insurance increase, high fines, and in some cases of reckless driving, criminal records. Don't take this lightly. If you receive the speeding ticket, especially reckless driving, call us. At Right Path Law, we fight cases like this in Northern Virginia every single day. We know how to challenge radars, we know how to cross-examine officers, and we know how to protect your license. The consultation is free. Call us at the number on the screen or visit rightpathlaw.com. Remember, paying the ticket is not your only option. You have rights, you have defenses, and you have options. Fight for your case if it's worth it. If this video was helpful, subscribe to our channel. And if you know someone who received a speeding ticket, share this video with them.